Welcome back to The Pew, everybody. I'm your host, John Edwards, and man, am I excited to be bringing you another episode of Just a Guy on the Pew this week. We've got a special show today, something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, many years now, and just for whatever reason, haven't gotten around to it, is to invite friends in my life on the show. People that I walk with every day, people that know me, who know the good things and know the very bad things, and have been there for both. Guys from my men's group, and I love for people to hear stories of the faith and reversions and conversions and just the witness of people's life. And so today I'm really excited because I have the opportunity to bring in the studio one of my very best friends in my life. This is, when I say that, I'm not joking. My life has been better for a number of years now because of the man that I'm about to bring up in just a second. There's no one, I think, outside of my wife that knows me better than him and has been there for me in the ways that he has. And so I'm just excited to introduce you all today to my friend Nicholas Andrew Roberts. Like I said, he's part of our men's group. He's one of my very best friends, and I'm glad to have him joining me on the show today. Nick, dude, it's great to be with you, man.
Appreciate that intro. That's a lot to live up to. So I'll try not to let you down.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. No, just man, I've been so excited for this day and all the crazy travel and all this stuff and the pilgrimages that have been going on. I've had such a crazy schedule. It's been hard for Victor to get with me on things because of my schedule and what he's got going on. And so what I've really been doing is having a lot of guests on, and then I've just, for a long time, like I said, I've been praying, and I've talked to you about this. I want to have you guys on the show because it doesn't always have to be evangelists and flashy people and all that kind of stuff. Some of the greatest stories and some of the places that we can relate the most are in just everyday people that are out there trying to live their life for the Lord in the midst of all the struggles and the difficulties in the world.
Right.
And so, dude, I'm glad today to have you on here and just to witness our friendship, man.
Glad to be here.
Dude, you make me laugh like nobody else. You just do. You have a way where I can be in the worst mood ever. And I hate everybody and everything, and I'm not getting out of this. Then you show up and an hour later, I'm just I don't even remember what I was upset about. Well, you do it on purpose.
I do. That's that. You're in a position with being an evangelist. You're always on.
Yeah.
And as one of your best friends, I kind of take pride in let's just hang out.
Yeah.
Let's just watch a movie. Let's watch a game. Let's cut up. Let's laugh.
Have a cigar or four.
Yes. Make ridiculously remarks about the 80s and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or just be knuckleheads.
Yeah.
Be the people our wives can't stand.
There you go. Well, at least they're kind enough to let us have that time together, right?
Right.
You need to get whatever that is in you out. Go hang out with John. Go hang out with Nick. And it is, man. It's some of the best times of my life where we're sitting outside on that patio, and I love this time of year with football season, man. And I try to purposely put some days in there in my schedule where one, I'm home with my family, but two, there's those opportunities to gather with you and David and John and Victor and whoever else is around, but to just enjoy each other, because we need that too, man.
Absolutely.
We can take life too seriously sometimes.
Very easy to do that.
And just we get stuck in it. It's those relationships and those friendships that bring us back to what's important,
Absolutely.
So some of my favorite times when we're sitting outside and then all of a sudden I'll cut on a phone and it's I'll hook to the speakers and then Stranglehold comes on because I know you're going to be in the middle of saying something to my wife or my kids or whoever else is out there, and you're just going to stop and you're going to look over and you're like, I saw what you did there. I know what you're doing there, and I'm right there with you. And then there will be 7 minutes of Nicholas Andrew Roberts playing air guitar and maybe high kicking in the air.
Yeah, I've been known to be quite the air guitarist. So, and the more libations, I'm a lot better in my mind.
That's right. So, well, the performance certainly increases as the more drinks you get in there. But no, man, it's such a joy, and that's we've talked about before, the men's groups and things like that, and that we're working on, and that's my heart, is that people find those type relationships that there's a side of you and I, as much as we can just cut loose and have a good time, there's a side to us too where hey, we need to get serious and we need to talk about the Lord, where we are with that. And I know I've answered a lot of phone calls from you where you've been in struggles. I know that you've answered a lot of calls from me when I've been in struggles. You have sat there and your ears are probably bleeding after an hour-long rant it, of just how difficult it can be sometimes to try to navigate a life of traveling ministry and family and all those things. And so that's like the wholeness of a friendship, right? It's not just, hey, we're going to meet and be super serious, or hey, we're going to meet and just like no holds barred, have a good time. It's this mix of all of it, and that's what makes it so great. And why I feel so lucky to have you in my life and to have that place of refuge to go to in any time of my life.
Well, the depths of friendship is what you're talking about, like just the ability to have a surface relationship, a deep rooted relationship. How many times do you hear, just go inside of a quiet church and be still and listen?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot to be said for that, right? I'm not saying anything profound there to you.
Sure.
But there's also that time in a friendship where you have to sit back and there have been times when you've done it for me, I've done it for you, where you listen and it's like, okay, that was heavy on that person's heart. They needed to get that off their chest.
Yeah.
That there was therapeutic in and of itself, and that's just part of being a friend, and it's like, you hear people say it all the time, if you need an ear to bend, holler at me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at that. I don't have I'm not real good with my hands, but I can listen, and I'm a good sounding board, and that's just a strength that I'm a people person.
Well, and you're humble too. Like a lot of times, like, I don't know if I can help, or I'm the right guy to be talking to, but dude, so many times you are. Like, just because you don't, like, people get confused. Like, I have to know everything that the Bible says. I have to know, like, no, if you know Jesus, Jesus will work through you. And the biggest part of that is being humble enough to listen, like you said, to have that heart of a servant, and then to just love people. And that's one thing you do really well, man. Like, you love people well. You're one of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. I mean, you're the first one to be like, oh, you're in a bad way. Here's this. Like, I think you're the only person on the planet that carries cash anymore. But like, but you have it, and you're like, boom, here you go. Whether it's a homeless person on the street, somebody that lost their job, somebody needs a donation for their ministry, not present company excluded, but
I know a guy.
But yeah, that's it. I know a guy. But like, you're that guy, and so like sometimes we can think, well, I'm not this or I'm not that, and we compare. How can I be a good friend if I don't know the right verse to send somebody to and they're struggling? No, like it's the presence. It's actually like, I can show you I love you by just being there. Right? Whether it's I'm going through struggles and I need you to listen, or hey, let's go do karate in the garage. Like, whatever it is, smash it up some bags of Doritos.
We might have just become best friends. Who knows?
Right. Building bunk beds,
right?
And, dancing around the room with just how much space is now in the room.
So much more for activities.
Whatever. For those you don't know, we're quoting Step Brothers, but like that's what friendship is, man. And I know that in my heart, like that's what the apostles felt with each other. They weren't always just there on the road where doing all this work. And it was work and formation and all this stuff. It was a lot of this other stuff. And so I want to get into talking about some of that in a little bit, but I want to give some time here too for you to kind of introduce yourself. Like, because I know you and I could sit here and I can ham it up with you for an hour and people are like, who the hell was that guy? Like, nobody ever, like, he came on, I guess John knows him. I mean, maybe he pulled him off the street, whatever. But like, I want them to know you because I think there's so much beauty in hearing where people have been. And honestly, like, not all of us have had massive drug problems and been thrown into jail and almost lost his life. And, we all haven't been knocked off a horse like St. Paul and had this radical moment. Like, sometimes it's just life happens and we're in these different places. We're in good places. We're in difficult places. And so, like, I know your story and it's beautiful and this your journey with the Lord. And so I'd love for you to kind of share some of that. Like, just to start off with, like, you have something I didn't have. You were born and raised Catholic.
I am a cradle Catholic, as they say.
Yeah, so you had that, I didn't. So, like, just start there and tell us, like, what your life was about, like kind of growing up and what it was like and just how you become who you are today.
So lifelong Memphian, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, a product of the Catholic school systems. I attended Holy Rosary Catholic Church school for 8 years. They didn't have kindergarten when we started, so you had to start in first grade.
Yeah.
So 8 years there, then 4 years at down the street from your house, Christian Brothers High School.
Yeah.
LaSallian School. And I mean, being Catholic and hanging around Catholics that's my normal. That's my circle. It's kind of like Point Break. It's to be a group within a group.
Yeah.
Catholicism's my group within a group.
That's right. Utah, give me two.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. So, speak the lingo.
That's right.
But yeah, man. So with that, there's many blessings in that, and there's also a lot of things that I took for granted. a lot of normalcies that a lot of people don't have. My wife's a convert, but it's a little bit different. Even with Amy, it's different. She started going to Catholic school when she was in 6th grade. So she converted right before we got married. So, but she even had a little bit of taste of that, and which, led her to her conversion to become a Catholic 25 years ago now. So did that. And then just, and then with that, a lot of checking off of the boxes, at certain points in my life. Fell from the church in those 20s, when you're finding your way in the world, you're out of high school, you're out of college, you're getting married. You kind of I had a spike there, started my family, and then kind of got mundane and routine. And it really wasn't until I had a very massive thing happen in our family. My older brother, who, we were, right hand, left hand.
Yeah.
We did everything together. We literally lived across the street from one another. Had children at the same time. Married best friends. Very intricately, integrated, just friendship and family. And actually, it was about 19 years ago. It was on a Labor Day weekend, and we're just on the other side of Labor Day. It was 19 years ago. Spencer, my oldest brother, had a massive stroke. And that disrupted our family big time. And that's what kind of led, in hindsight now, I can say that's what led me to my adult conversion story, which I'm going to share with you if I can.
Sure, yeah.
I get a little wordy and talky, so
man.
Just bear with me. But
I'll tell you to shut up. Just kidding.
So my older brother Spencer, someone I kind of looked up to in my as a young adult.
Yeah.
He went to mass daily rosary. His degrees in English lit. He loves to read. He was, always had a nose in the Bible.
Big hunter.
Big outdoorsman, big family guy, just was a really good older brother to look up to. Seriously, he was. That still is. And when he had his stroke, he was very involved at our parish that we attend, Holy Rosary.
Yeah.
And he was, coaching and doing the men's club, the Memphis Italian Festival. Him and his wife actually were doing the Italian Festival before they even had children.
Wow.
And I was contacted by the men's club to come up there and update them on Spencer's progress and what's going on. And that's what kind of got me hooked into adult parish life.
Yeah.
Started attending the men's club and getting involved in the Italian Festival and fish fries and fundraising arms and things like that. Met a whole new friend group. Got really involved with the parents of my daughter and my nephews, and really thought I was doing the right thing because I was doing all these things on a Catholic campus.
Sure.
Didn't spend much time in that big building on Park Avenue, the one with the tabernacle in it.
Sure, yeah.
But I was in the art room and in the gym and on the football field and soccer field and baseball field and in the parking lot.
Your truck could drive itself there.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a button on the dashboard that says Holy Rosary, and been whipping in there since '83. But yeah, and then started being more introduced to people. And when you spend that much time on a Catholic campus, you're going to run into some people that have a serious prayer life and a serious relationship with the Lord and are going to church more than just on a Sunday and doing things of that nature. And that's what I kind of hooked into some of that. Mm-hmm. And, look, it was tough for me. My older brother had a stroke. And then my father was falling on poor health. And fast forward a few years later, my father passed away. And I lost the two people I confided into the most. Yeah. My two inspirations, both my two biggest heroes,
Sure.
And, my father was gone. And I was telling someone yesterday, I was telling a family member, I still think about my dad every day.
Yeah.
There has not been a day that's gone by since he's passed that I don't think about him. And It's been over 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm only 47. I was pretty young when my dad passed away. And with Spencer, suffering the massive stroke, he's very limited in his communication. But because we are brothers and we're so close, we still communicate very well.
Sure.
I mean, we can like look at each other and he knows what I'm thinking and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so there was a hole that I was trying to fill, and I thought I was filling it with the right stuff through volunteering and being active in the school, in the church, and things like that. But it's really been in the last, I'd say 10 years that I've really grown in my faith as an adult.
Yeah.
I do what a lot of people do. I made my Curcio. I think that's the correct way of saying it.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm living my best fourth day. And but that was a stepping stone to where I'm at now. And it's, you start surrounding yourself with virtuous people and people that are like-minded and that can pick you up and you pick them up and you have a very comfortableness with them, because I think as you grow deeper in your faith, you're okay with humility and being humbled and vulnerability, and because there's something bigger and there's something greater.
Well, hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the show this week. If you have been blessed by our ministry at all, I would humbly ask you to prayerfully consider becoming a monthly partner in the Pew by going to our website, justaguyonthepew.com, and clicking the donate button in the upper right corner. Your support will help us reach thousands more men through the podcast and through the life-changing groups we're starting for men in parishes all over the country and around the world. We can't do it without you, and every bit of your support helps. So please consider becoming a monthly partner in the Pew today. Thank you for your time and enjoy the episode. Yeah, and something you said in there too, I want to go back to is like, you were saying I got sucked into the life of volunteering, and all those things are good.
Sure.
Like those are good things. If you hadn't done that, they would have struggled to probably find other people. Now, it's also true that 20% of the people do 80% of the work in a parish. So sometimes that can get old. You're
Many hands make light work.
Yeah, like, come on, somebody else help. I've been running Italian Fest for 37 years, And so there's things like that are true. But the truth behind that is, too, for a lot of men, it's just easier to do that stuff,
sure,
right? Because like we've been told that you're just supposed to, like, your problems, your issues, your struggles are yours. You don't need to share them. A man doesn't need help. You should be a John Wayne or a Clint Eastwood, or today a John Wick, right? Like you shouldn't need anybody. And so like the easiest thing for men to do is like with your hands, right? What do I do with these, right? Can I box something up? Can I tie a fence? Can I build a baseball dugout? Like bring me a cooler beer and I'll do whatever you want, right? And
those things are needed.
Yeah, they are needed. But oftentimes that becomes the extent of how people are involved. And like you're saying, like I know plenty of people at our parish and at other places that have, like you said, like I'm going to be at Holy Rosary 5 times a day, and none of it's going to be for the spiritual aspect of it. And it's not because even that it's intentional. It's just sometimes for men, it's easier because we're so guarded. A lot of us don't know how to share. We've been told we're not supposed to. So, and then a lot of times we've been away from God, and so that the pain of our mistakes, the shame of things, hey, I haven't been to church in a number of years, I haven't been to Mass in a number of years. We can feel like, okay, well, I can still be a part and help, and still quote unquote be a good person by doing these things, but like that's the extent of my faith. And if you're there, that's great. That's a starting place, and maybe Nick's testimony in this show will help you with that. But like the Lord wants us all to go deeper. We're called to go deeper. And that's what you're talking about now is at some point you said you saw people that were praying and that over the last 10 years, things have been different for you. And it started with Curcio. I know you're probably going to talk about our group and things like that too. But like I just wanted to stop real quick in the midst of that and say like that's where a lot of men are.
Absolutely.
Like I don't know how to do anything but show up and coach.
That's not a bad place to be. Yeah. Because like you said, it's a start. It could be way off base, and you're there.
Sure.
You're in the stadium. You just got to kind of find your way to home plate a little bit.
Yeah.
And you just got to look. You'll know it because it'll start. You'll feel it.
Yeah.
Because you want it. It's there. It's inside of you. You just got to go. You got to be quiet and listen.
Yeah.
And that happened for me, thankfully. I had a mountaintop experience when I made my Cursillo. You know, for those that aren't familiar, just real quick, you know, it's an adult continuation for your Catholic faith.
Yeah.
Well, as someone that grew up in the Catholic school, I lost that. I
Sure.
took it for granted. You know, it was a class you had every day, going to mass twice a week, Monday through Friday. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know you're a daily mass person.
Sure.
I mean, that's like, we've had that conversation many times. You've talked about it on this podcast many times. Like, that is your balance.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't go to mass but just one day a week, you're not that person.
Right. It screws with me for sure.
That's not who I'm sitting across from.
Yeah.
You know, was it Chase Robinson from the Duck Dynasty? I saw a reel the other day, and that great Chase voice. 1 hour a week with the Lord. That's not good enough for me. Well, I mean, think about that. For a lot of people, they go to mass on Sunday, which is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But that's
you're meeting an obligation.
That's it.
Yeah.
When you start opening the idea of going to a weekly mass or upping your prayer life or reading or studying, there's all these things you can implement into your life that will help you get closer to that.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that gets missed in a lot of that too is who you're spending time with.
Yeah. Amen.
What are the guys doing that you're with? You know what I'm saying? And not be afraid to be that person, to be out in public, and you might be having pizza and beers with the fellas, be like, hey guys, we need to bless this food real quick.
Yeah.
Well, if you're with a group of people and you say that and someone has a problem with that, you're probably not with the right friend group.
Yeah.
But it's never happened to me.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's bless this food, know?
Well, and there is that pressure to conform, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm in this crowd, and we all have it. Like, so people like to say, no, I'm my own person, and da-da-da-da.
Peer pressure is probably more real in adulthood than it is in your formative years.
Oh, yeah.
I can say that at 47.
Right. Well, one, it's harder to find friends at that age. It's harder to find people with like interest. It's, you have families and people have limited time. And so like the opportunities you do have, you want to find people that are in the same place of life, the same kind of mindset that you have. But oftentimes, like, you can be in the wrong friend group for the wrong reasons. Like, we all want to be liked. We all want to be included. We all want to be affirmed.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes we're willing to do things and be with people to receive that aren't the right places for us. So you make a good opinion, like a good point there of saying, like, it's easy, like, you need to look at who you're running with, because if it's contrary to God, if it's pulling you away from God, if you're being tempted to quit doing things that you're doing because the people you're running with aren't doing them and they're questioning them, or you feel like the odd man out, then that's also a sign from the Lord going like, hey, maybe you need some different people in your life. And that's hard because you love people. Like, there's people that you and I both are friends with that never grace the door of a church. They're good people. You love them. And you pray for them.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
You can't sit back and judge on them. That's not your job.
No. You're praying for them and hoping that the Lord...
There's a shot caller that can do that.
Yeah.
We're not the shot caller.
That's right.
We can pray for them.
Yeah.
And you can lead by example.
Yeah. And I've seen you do that on the football field with the kids you coach, with some of the other coaches, with people at Italian Fest. Like, I've seen you do that. And that, again, is the piece that people find so confusing sometimes. Is like, well, no, I've got to be able to quote scripture. I got to be able to this. No, it's the witness of your life.
Thank God they don't look at Nick Roberts to quote scripture.
That's right. Oh, well, I try to whisper it in your ear, but you don't always listen to it.
Man, you remind me of my brother from the aspect, you're a reader. Yeah. And I'm an osmosis guy.
Yeah.
You're
an audiobook guy.
Man. Yeah. 3.5 hours in Nashville.
That's right.
And I got you.
3 chapters max.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, okay, so let's talk about that for a quick second. So you know that about yourself. Let's say you're a person like me.
Yeah.
Audiobook.
Yeah.
Or just turn the radio off and just meditate or pray. It can be repetitive. It can be audio rosary.
Yeah.
That's you talk about one of the greatest things ever between like the cloud and smartphones and all the kind of stuff that I'm talking about that I sound like an idiot about right now. Audio's, I mean, that's great. That's awesome. And just like I said, being around people that keep you on point.
Sure.
That give you that tough love and tell you the things that you need to hear.
Yeah, accountability.
Yeah, because but you spend time developing those relationships.
Yeah.
I recently went through a struggle in my life that's kind of, hot off the press. And,
Sure.
and I was reminded during a bad day how blessed I am with the amount of many wonderful friendships I have, because word kind of spread around and people were checking in on me and everything. And I told my wife later that night, I was like, I am blessed many times over.
Yeah.
And it's with my wife and my daughter and my family, and I've got some really good friends that really care about me.
Yeah.
And I hold that very dear to my heart. I take friendship very seriously, and I probably get one of the things I take away from my dad. Dad had a little bit of a broken home growing up. He put a lot of stock in friendship. Didn't have a lot of family members he could put stock in.
Sure.
Well, that's a podcast for a later time.
Yeah, sure. That's another day.
But I mean, I'm a big proponent of friendship. I'm sitting here today with one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Friendship.
I mean, you mean your best friend? I'm sorry. Can you rephrase that? One of now? Okay.
Hashtag BFF.
Cut the cameras. Go ahead.
Victor's in here somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. He's sitting in the corner in his mind palace. He's reading over there. But go ahead.
I'm in his chair.
That's right. You are in his chair. So if you get humble, that's why.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do feel smarter sitting in his chair.
That's right. Well, I'm still waiting for it to show, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm waiting on hair to grow, but that hadn't happened either.
I digress.
Right. So, but I think the biggest thing going in my life right now is, and it's part of your ministry too, is we recently rebranded at our parish. Our men's group is the Brothers in Christ.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that's great.
Yeah, sure.
It's very fulfilling. I mean, we have the 4 pillars, and we have formation and worship and service and then fellowship, And I'm telling you, it's like every week is something different, but it's a different aspect and a different avenue to exercise your faith and do things with like-minded people. And the group's growing right now.
Yeah.
We got a lot of consistent faces. We got some newer faces, and it's meant the world to me. And I know that you go around the country setting that up and getting those going in other places.
Yeah.
And I know how much it means to you.
Sure.
And I've kind of pride myself with our group. I was at the very first one.
Oh, I know.
And
I know you and I were not friends before that.
No, that's part of how we got. I mean, we were just like 2 of the big tall dads on campus.
Yeah, that's right.
We'd see each other at a football Tiger game, and I'm like, I know that 6'8" guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know that big fat round 6'4" guy.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, I am fat and round.
Yeah. Used to have a red beard.
Yeah, I used to have a red beard. It's more like Santa Claus now.
There you go.
So we were speaking of our men's group a couple of years ago. I don't know if I told you, we were in the vesting room, me and David, and I was putting on the Santa Claus suit. We were doing a thing for the little kids.
Oh yeah,
and
for our service night for the kids.
And I had the Santa Claus suit on, and I had my readers on and everything. And I went to go grab for those of you listening, I have a kind of a big beard. It can be bigger in the wintertime. And and I went down to reach into the little suitcase to pull the beard out. And our good friend David Hall, he looked at me and said, "Really?" He was like, "You're going to put a fake beard on top of a white beard?" He's like, "No." So what's funny is I now coach one of those kids in football.
Oh yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll catch him out of the corner of my eye. He'll be like, "Huh, I think this guy doubles as Santa Claus."
Yeah,
in the
that's
wintertime.
right. If he winds up sitting in your lap and asking for a present,
because he's bigger than me now. I hope he doesn't sit in my lap.
There you go.
But no, that is the one thing in my life that's consistent right now that helps me keep balance. I've been a little slacker last couple of weeks because I've got sucked back into coaching football again. But I am volunteering, but that's the group just means so much to me and so many other people, and it's such a great group of guys.
Yeah, it is, and like that's why I do it, like because I. In the life I lived before, like I didn't have real friends. Like, and I went through 17 years of my life of not having real friends, but people that wanted to use me for things that I could do for them and all that kind of stuff, money, drugs, whatever. I didn't have real friends, man, since I was like 18 years old. And then here I was on this campus at Holy Rosary, and like no one knew what had happened in my life. And I went to the men's club, made some buddies there, but like I always felt like there's a part of myself that's hidden. Like there's a part of myself that people don't know. And what if they find out? right? Like, what if they find out? Am I going to lose these relationships? Will they walk away from me? And like, it wasn't until that group launched, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just, like, the Lord was like propelling me. It's like St. Paul says, it's like there's something burning in me, like it's in my very bones, Jeremiah says, and it's like I had to go in there and pour that out. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if like everybody in that room was going to leave.
And you literally did that. You literally did that because I witnessed that we had a lot of people there that night.
Yeah, there was 30 some odd people.
Yeah, and I remember it was brought up that night by more than one person how there was an inward heat.
Yeah.
I.e., people were burning. People were on fire. You know, one of the first things we ever did on fire for him, the shirts we had made, T-shirts we had made, on fire for him, you know? Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I got one in my closet.
And I almost rocked it today.
Oh, there you go.
And but I remember that, and I remember you spilling your guts, saying some, I mean, just flat foot, honest stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I distinctly remember that thinking, well, man, if he just got done sharing that, then I can share this. And it was you could literally see the dominoes fall around that table.
Yeah.
And there were people there that night that haven't been back, but they shared in that moment.
Yeah.
And all you can hope and pray for was that led them to whatever the next step was for them.
Sure.
You know?
Well, and that's the longing we all have. Like, like God created us to be known, right? And that's the desire of all of our hearts is like, I want to be known. I want to be seen, loved, and heard. I want to be loved. And that's the number one thing that people struggle with is like, I feel like people don't know me. They don't get me. They don't see me. Mm-hmm. And we've been told by the world to hide all our deficiencies and that those weaknesses make us weak or that they make us imperfect or they make us something not worthy. But as we've talked about, and I said that night, like that verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, where Paul's lamenting about the thorn in his side. I quoted that night in that first meeting, was like, man, I never understood this until now. But like my whole life, I've been white knuckling the steering wheel of my life. I've been just like shoving things down. And I need y'all to know that like I have almost lost everything in my life because of that, and that I'm tired of this. And in that verse, God says, no, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And so it calls us to realize like these notions of the world of like, I've got to be this one man army that's just tearing through life. And I've got to have these facades. I felt like I had a hat rack at home. And like every time I went to leave, instead of hats on there were different masks. And I was like, okay, I'm going to the gym, I'll be this guy. I'm going to school, I'll be this guy. I'm going to work, I'll be this guy. I'm home now, I'll put on this friend. You know, I'm going with my dad and my immediate family, I'm going to put on this mask. And I never felt like myself, man. And there's so many guys that are trapped out there that's like, I can't tell my wife I struggle with how we're going to pay the bills. I can't tell my wife that I'm struggling with lust. I can't tell and so we need places where guys can go and be real. And like what opened my eyes that night that I don't talk about a lot is that like I really started going, man, everybody's is afraid to be themselves. Like we have this self we've created that we project out, but all we really want to be is who we are, that's unfiltered and unadulterated, and just like, this is who I am in my joys and my successes and in my mistakes and my failures. And that night, it was like, man, a bomb went off in that room, and people were like, I don't have to carry this around this more because my back hurts. I've got scoliosis from carrying this stuff around, right? Like I can barely move because of the weight of this. And that's what Jesus says is like, come to me, all you who labor and burden, because my yoke is easy and light, right? And my yoke is light. And so that's what he's inviting us to do. And we found that Jesus wasn't just in that tabernacle. He was in each other. He was in us, and we gave us an opportunity to not only let go, but also to receive what other people needed us to be and to be there for them in that way. And to me, that was what was different in what we did in that room that night versus any other ministry I'd ever been a part of. And it wasn't like we sat down and go, here's what's going to happen. The Lord just did it.
Oh, no, everybody was being led back then. Like there was we just knew we had to come together.
Yeah.
Like, the four pillars.
Yeah.
If you just said that, 9 years ago now?
Yeah.
We'd have been like, what?
Yeah.
What? You know,
I just want to show up talking about how bad I suck.
Yeah. It's like, we got this bag of sins laying around. We're going to pull sins out of the bag and talk about those. You know? Right. I mean, and that worked for a while.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to keep it fresh and change things up. But I mean, no, that back then, I distinctly remember, and again, speaking for myself, like, I don't know what this is, but we're on to something here.
Yeah.
And it was really organic, and it was for the longest time, and it progressed into what we're doing now.
Yeah.
But it's been a heck of a ride.
Well, that's the craziest thing. Like, you and I joke around a lot.
But that,
like,
sorry, but that,
no, go ahead.
But that night, what that night was the most. It's like when you make a really good confession.
Yeah.
And you finally own the fact that God knows everything you've done.
Yeah.
He knew it before you did it.
Sure.
He was there when you were sinning. And you're going to hold back in the confessional booth? Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Once you and that's a lot of people don't do that. But if you cut loose and you walk out of there with a clean slate and you've spilled your guts and you've confessed all your sins.
Amended your life, yeah.
Yeah, I back to my brother real quick, because I just want to say this real quick.
No, sure, please. Take time.
Christmas Eve, more than 20, less than 25 years ago, okay? We're sitting at Mass. I'm sitting next to my brother, and he just leans over to me, and of course, Spencer's walking differently back then in those days,
Yeah.
And I know that now. And he kind of leans over and he says, when's the last time you went to confession? And I said, 1992 in the 8th grade when we had to do it before confirmation.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought his jaw was going to hit the floor, but I wasn't going to lie about the last time I went to confession inside a church.
Yeah, because then you'd have to go to confession.
Yeah, right. yeah, which I was really good at back then.
That's right.
So he encouraged me to go.
Yeah.
And I did. I was going to let my brother down, Went and sat in there with a really good friend of ours, Father James Martell.
Oh, yeah. Saved my life.
And I went in there, and I mean, between the years of 8th grade and being in my early 20s and being married, I had quite the laundry list to confess.
Oh, sure.
And I bought into it. I don't know if that's the right way of putting it, but I did what I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I walked out of there, John, I was 5 inches taller, man.
Yeah.
I felt wholesome, and just like a weight was lifted off my shoulders because I'd just been carrying all these things around.
Sure.
And just because I know I'm not a bad person, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's different.
Sure.
And that's, I'll quit because I feel like
no, you're not quitting. No, please go ahead.
Well, I just feel like I'm going to start babbling. But I mean, there's something to be said about that. I don't know if it was. I've had the privilege of being several confirmation sponsors over the years. One of which is your son.
Yeah.
And it might have been Jacob that asked me this. If not, it was someone else. But they asked, what's one of your favorite things about being Catholic? Mm-hmm. And I said reconciliation.
Yeah.
I think it's something that does not get talked about enough, but it is something that if you can get past that whole, I'm not going in there and telling another man you're not.
Yeah.
You're talking to God.
Yeah.
The priest is a conduit.
Sure.
They're there to oversee everything. They're not.
And he gave them the power to loose and bind and all that.
Absolutely. And I've had the privilege of befriending enough priests now where they're not.
Yeah.
They're not caught up on what you said to them.
Sure.
At all. That's not their thing. At all.
It's not the first time they've heard it either.
No. Well, yeah,
there is nobody that's original in their sin.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like Father Clark said at Holy Rosary one time. He's like, there's not anything you can tell me that I haven't heard.
Right.
And I mean, like, if you want to tell me you killed somebody, someone's already beat you to the punch.
Yeah.
Sure. You're not going to shock me.
Yeah.
Luckily I haven't had to report
that's right.
heavy.
That's
There was that one night that we
say we got to start running background checks on Jacob's confirmation sponsors.
Right.
And I remember when he asked me, he's like, I think I'm going to ask, Uncle Nick, Coach Nick. It changes based on whatever he feels he needs to call you in the moment.
Truly privileged when he asked me because not many people. Their father is a Catholic evangelist, and all the people that he could have asked, and the fact that he asked me, that meant the world to me. Not that, and I hope that doesn't sound, but I distinctly remember telling my wife and daughter, like, I was like, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and it was a testament to our friendship. Like, I mean, he loves you because I love you, right? I mean, I told him when he told me, I mean, my response was, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
But he,
right. Yeah. Nick Roberts.
That's right. I'm talking the same guy.
Right.
Because I just talked to him yesterday. And, woo, you know, but no,
Loser.
like, it meant the world to me because I was like, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because like if I couldn't do it.
Well, he's surrounded by a lot of good guys, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and it was like,
well, and as a father, you want to be everything for your kids. So like, if I couldn't do that, because the rule is you can't.
Sure.
Like, then there was nobody better in my heart that he could ask. Like, I was immediately just peaceful with it because of our relationship. And that's what's funny, man. Like, you grew up in Midtown Memphis. I grew up in Midtown Memphis. Like, we joke about this all the time.
Well, I grew up in Hickory Hills.
Well, you did, but
spent a lot of time in Midtown Memphis in my teenage years.
Which basically meant you grew up there.
Right.
But like, yeah, we were at the same parties. We ran around with the same people. Like, that was the funny thing we were
probably the two biggest guys in the room at any given moment.
Yeah, that's right. And so, like, I remember when you started coming to the men's group, and like, I was like, oh, that Nick guy's here, and like, that guy seems really funny. Everybody seems to love him. Like, that's cool. I'd like to get to know that guy. And then it naturally happened over time. But as we started talking, it's like, hey, I noticed we're Facebook friends now, and you know David Doan, and you know David Riggs, and you know Wes Doyle and Catherine Berry, and like Alex Turley and all these people, and I'm like, shout out to all those folks, by the way.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just like, roll call. How do you know all these people?
Right.
Because you didn't go to Grace St. Luke's, and they did.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you know all these people? Man, I just ran around a lot in Midtown, and as we've continued, like, then we started realizing that people I went to high school with, you were friends with, didn't go to high school with, and we ran around together.
I passed by your house the house you grew up in, twice a day.
Oh, yeah. And we never knew
Once
each other.
already today.
That's right.
Yeah, 1912 Peabody.
That's right. And so we, I don't think they're putting a landmark there or anything, but maybe one day.
That whole Crump guy down the road.
That's right. Yeah, that one's there.
Yeah.
But no, like, it just how God ordains everything, right? Like, all those times that we should have met, never did, and we get the biggest kick out of it in the world. Like, we'll be in a restaurant somewhere and somebody walks up like, hey, Nick, it's good to see you, buddy. And turn, oh, John Edwards, how you been? And we're like, you know him?
Right.
This is crazy.
Right.
So the fact that we didn't meet until that time and that God brought us together in that way is just a testament to who God is, right? And the ripple effects it's had on both of our lives. And that's what really, like, having you on here today, like, that's one of the things that, like, I knew would be evidenced, whether we talked about it or not, is just the gravity of our friendship, like, just the blessing of our friendship and what it's meant in both of our lives. Like, I will say this, like, it is hard in ministry, and it's hard to, like, keep the world at bay, and it's hard to not, sometimes you want to flip out and act like everybody else in the world, and like, but there's something like, I can't, because God has called me higher or has called me. It doesn't mean you can't be human, but at the same time, it's like, no, I understand
you're gonna
the
be
truth.
human.
Well, yeah, but I understand the truth, and I've called to a higher standard because I know that truth. Now, do I fail? Yes. I mean, I go to confession all the time, but like, knowing that there's a place I can go with people who aren't going to go, well, man, I thought you were a Catholic podcaster and speaker, and man, you just lost my vote because, like, you got real problems and you didn't deal with them right. There's a tremendous weight to carry, just like we all have. But in that group, like, it's not just so often, like, the ministry things we do are like checking boxes, like you said. It's like, okay, well, I got to go to my Knights of Columbus meeting. I got to go to the altar servers meeting. I got to go to the parish council. I got to go to the, people who stand on their head and pray a rosary meeting and all that kind of stuff. And we're doing all these things almost like we're trying to fill up a Catholic bingo card in case we die on Friday and we can show it to St. Peter and go, am I in?
Yeah.
Right? Does it say bingo? Versus, like, the difference of, man, I come here because I'm accompanied and because my life is better because of it and because other lives are better because I am here too. And that's the crux of what we've had. And our friendship, first and foremost, is rooted in Christ. And that's what I love about it is, yeah, we have the freedom to go jack around and be idiots and sometimes maybe have a few too many beers or one too many cigars or laugh about something inappropriate, right? But also we know that our anchor is Christ and that in each other we see it and that's always going to be the part of our friendship that binds us the most. you know?
Yeah, I mean, but the beauty of that too is you become more comfortable on your campus and in your parish life too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like 9 o'clock mass.
Yeah.
You know who's going to be there.
You sure?
You know where they're sitting.
Yep.
You know, was it Father Gallagher said one time, he's like, what messes me up is flip that around when y'all don't sit where you normally sit.
Yeah.
And I was like, never thought about it that way.
Better be in my pew.
Right. But I mean, and I'm not.
Nick's like, what are you doing in the back row?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I sit in the back with all the good Catholics.
That's right.
My hearing tells me sit in the front pew, but I'm hard-headed.
Yeah.
But I mean, but you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's home.
Sure.
And those are the people you're walking with and people you're familiar with. And you do have that skin in the game outside of those four walls of church too.
Yeah.
You know, like you're, on the field at Marquette setting up and taking down a festival with each other.
Yeah.
You're making food for the homeless and the needy. You're putting together gift bags. You're walking outside the walls with those people, and it means more. And it's a good feeling to get there. And it all starts with, to the beginning of the podcast, if you're volunteering and you're doing things, you're in the right direction, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But if you're not spending a little more time in church than you should, I would implore someone to do that.
Yeah.
Because hey, look, again, another podcast for another time, but how many times in our friendship, how many times have you looked at me and be like, we're having this conversation again?
Yeah, it's been a lot. I'm just kidding.
According to this index card, it's 1,339 times.
That's right. Yeah.
140.
Yeah. My calculator exploded.
Right. But but you fall and you get back up.
Yeah.
And I tell somebody all the time, I'm an imperfect Catholic who tries to be a good one every day.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Sure.
It's, you fall down, you get up, but you got to be okay with that or strive to do better.
Well, and you got to surround yourself with people that help you back up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you got to know that you're not the only one in this world that's having a bad day or having a bad moment. Biggest thing I struggle with is, we do all this kind of stuff, and then you get home, and that's kind of when you decide to fall around your wife and your kid. Or children,
Yeah, unfortunately, the ones you love the most sometimes get the worst of you.
100%.
And it sucks.
Yeah. That's the part that's the part that I
get what's left over a lot. But go ahead.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. Amy Roberts, famously said, she's like, I get tired of getting the leftover Nick.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets the fun, jolly, happy. I get the leftovers, and I get that gets old sometimes.
Sure.
And she's the one person that should get prime choice.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times it's like sometimes in your family, things are hard to fix. And so it's easier to go places where you can fix. Like everybody, they don't want to struggle. They want to go where everybody knows your name, right? Like quote Cheers. They want to go where oh, Nick's here and everybody's happy and you can fix things. And that happened with me and Angela. Like after I got out of jail, it's like, well, she thinks that I'm just addicted to Jesus now instead of cocaine and then waiting for other shoe to drop. Mm-hmm. And so everybody thinks John's great, but I know the real him and all that kind of stuff. And so if you're not careful, you find yourself drifting towards affirmation because you want to feel good about yourself. You don't want to feel bad about yourself. So there's a reality in that, but that's also why that having a group and a place to go is so important because if you're in the right place, if that group is oriented right, if it is structured right and Christ is at the center, then when people start calling that out in you, like, hey dude, I get you're up here every day. But when's the last time you've taken your wife on a date? When's the last time you've been home before 6 o'clock at night? When's the last time you and your daughter sat down and had a conversation, or your son or whatever? And that's, again, what you were talking about, the accountability is sometimes we can get in a mode and just be frank, we'll bitch about stuff.
Sure.
And, excuse me if any kids were in the car, but that's the truth. And you just get so caught up and that becomes your mode of operation where you're just griping about everything. And you need somebody to take you by the shirt and go, hey man, you got a wife that loves you at home. You got kids that love you at home. And what they're really saying is, we want more of you. That's not a bad thing, right? That is love. And so we need places, and that's part of what these groups do. And what we've been for each other and what we've seen in the other guys being for each other is one, always lifting each other up. sometimes pulling the other down in a good way. If you're on a pedestal or a high horse, or you've allowed the world to be your center of attention versus Christ and the man you need to be. But those are all things that are the blessing of that. And it's what, again, I'm so glad that you have been for me in my life and that I've tried to be the best of my ability for you. And that's all we can ask.
You very much so have.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. Even though you're not just saying it because you're on the mic. I know.
It's okay.
Because the internet's forever. You better mean it.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
What kind of final thoughts do you have to say, like, about groups, about like your journey in the faith? Like, I know we got to wrap it up here because you and I could talk for another 4 hours.
Sure.
And we wouldn't care.
Right.
But other people probably would.
Yeah.
So like, what are your final, like, anything you want to say or anything that you felt like you still got on your heart?
I just think just kind of the way the conversation's led, and we're going to wrap things up. You kind of grazed over it. You want to have that balance.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It's hard for me.
Sure.
It may not be hard for others, but you got to have that balance of where, you got that little perfect pie right there, and you got so much for God, so much for family, so much for yourself, so much for your career, so much for family, so much for friends.
Yeah.
And that can be hard, and that's the constant for me, is trying to have the perfect balance.
Yeah.
The quest for the perfect balance.
Well, how do you find that? How do you order that in the right way? For you personally.
The correct answer for me is faith, family, friends.
Yeah.
I think if and the other one was Father Larry, I am third.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Father Larry.
Yeah.
I am third. For someone like myself, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's if when I do that, things are better in my life.
Sure.
Father Gabe, who married my wife and I 25 years ago, he told us, he told my wife, if you always put him first, and then he looked at me and he said, if you always put her first, y'all will be just okay.
Yeah.
He said, you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
And shocker, he was right.
Yeah.
That's when you follow that order, when I follow that order, when we follow that order, things usually fall in place pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that order is known.
Yeah.
It gets, and look, man, this is not false. That's on me.
Sure.
That is not false humility. That's not me trying to take one. Like that's on me.
Yeah.
I'm big, I'm loud, I'm wide open. Everything for me is 100% all the way in.
Sure.
Usually really loud and probably too close to your face. Okay. For those that really know me, you'll get that.
Yeah. Yeah. That hits home.
Yeah. Close. Yeah. Old close talker Nick.
That's right.
But when I'm,
is this weird? Is this
weird? but they also know that I can be counted on and I can be trusted.
Oh, sure.
But it's just balance, and like my wife famously says, what's the point in doing all this stuff if we don't put it into play?
Yeah. Amen to that. And that's what it is. Like, your point is, selfishness is the killer of faith and heartbeat. It's the killer of relationships. It's all of that. And so we have to remember to live like Christ did. And it's hard to do that by yourself. He sent the disciples out 2 by 2 for a reason. Mm-hmm. And he gives us the grace of great friendship. I think about Sirach when it says, like, a real friendship is like a sturdy shelter. Like, and few find them. Like, it's just, I'm sure I butchered that, but like, there's just, it's the truth. Like, when you have a true friendship, it's like finding the pearl of great price, right? And you bury it in the ground because you're like, this is what keeps me going. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful to you, man. Like, not to get all sappy and stuff, but I love you, dude. And
I love you too, man.
And I would say that in front of anybody, anywhere. And my life is better because you're in it. And,
likewise.
Yeah. And there are so many times in my life where I struggle, where I'm not the man I want to be for my family or, for any other place. And God uses you in a lot of powerful ways in my life to bring me back to what's important, to bring me back to what's true. And honestly, sometimes just to make me laugh. I know there's been times where you've like, hey, dude, meet me at Huey's, time for a beer and a burger. Mm-hmm. And we're not talking about anything but see who can make each other laugh the most.
Right.
And that's the thing. And that's some of the greatest gifts in my life have been.
Life gets heavy. You got to lighten the load sometimes.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's where having a buddy that you can lean into that can pick you up when you're down or just change the direction. Just take things, just have a recess.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you're always, I mean, you got a lot of irons in the fire.
Sure.
You know, and that's kind of, I've always, you know, I've been saying that for a while now. That's kind of where I, you know, hang my hat on.
Yeah.
You know, let's get you out of that for a minute.
Yeah.
We're not going to do anything wrong. We're not going to do anything bad.
Yeah.
You know, we might have a couple less brain cells when we're done.
Yeah,
but I mean, let's just kick it out of gear for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, let's just go, let's have a timeout.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's a real grace. And, you know, your family is like my family. I mean, I love Hannah. Team beverages. That's an inside joke. But I love Hannah and I love Amy, and just, you guys are just a great testament to caring for other people. I mean, just the way you have for Spencer and his family and everything else, in the midst of all of that. And so I wanted people to know what I've known for a long time, how wonderful you are, what a great guy you are, and just what a blessing you can be. So I know this time today is going to bless people. Folks, if you're sitting there and you're going like, well, thanks, this made me a whole lot lonelier because I don't have somebody like that in my life. Well, maybe God's calling you to come out of yourself, or to seek something in your parish, maybe even to start something. God knows I didn't think I was going to be the guy that he was using to do any of this. But it's these promptings we hear when we say like, man, those people have something I'm looking for. Those people have something I want. Then that's a prompting to listen to the Lord, and we can help you do that. If you want a place like that in your parish, like I said, Nick and I did not know each other at all beyond, hey man, in the parish. And now, like, there's no one I would rather spend my time with when I have free time than him. And that's only because we met through Christ. Christ built this amazing relationship and this love for one another, an understanding of one another, and a trust and just a bond that will never be broken in death or anything else. And so if that's what you're looking for, you can find that in those places that we're starting all over the country. All you have to do is just go to justaguyonthepew.com, go fill out all the things that say start a men's group. I want to know more. Even if we just have a conversation, it's not a waste of my time and it's not a waste of yours. If you want to find what we've heard and you're going, dude, this is what I want in my life, then maybe this is the reason God brought you to this place and turned on that radio dial today, or turned on that YouTube button. So Nick, like, dude, I love you. I'll say it till the cows come home. I've already said it. Like, I want to go do karate in the garage right now. I have a couple of swords in there. I was
over stretching when you were talking to the camera, so I'm ready to go.
and the Rambo 2 knife, we can just pick your pleasure. Yeah. But we can go in there.
I got a mud wall right now. I can just come out of it real quick. So
That's right.
When I open my eyes, you'll know I'm there.
That's right. But man, like, what a pleasure it was to have you on here. And thanks for taking time.
Thanks for having me, man.
To do it, man.
This has been fun.
Yeah. And I know we'll do it again. Yeah. We'll get on some bonehead topic and we'll talk about it, and the Lord will be in it. But thank you, man. I love you and I appreciate it. And dude, I can't wait to see you at group tonight.
Yeah. I'll be there. I'll be late.
That's right.
I'll be late. I'll definitely be after 7:30.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell Kenny thanks a lot. But anyway,
he's in Ireland right now, so he's having a good time.
So he won't even know if you're going. So you can skip football practice. Good point. See you on time.
Yeah.
All right.
He's at a pub somewhere in Ireland right now.
That's
drinking.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in today. Let's close in prayer. Let's do it in our Father.
Absolutely.
In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. On earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Team friendship. Thanks, bud. See you next time.
See you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah.